You ever notice how the loud, shallow person with a crowd around them never questions themselves, but the quiet one with only a couple of real contacts in their phone is the one who starts wondering if something's wrong? If you don't have many friends, you've probably asked yourself this question more than once. Why am I always the one on the outside? Why? And most voices would answer you by saying it's because you're broken. You need to be more outgoing. You're doing something wrong. But my answer to you is this: look carefully at how you're built, because it's not a defect, it's a design. And I want to walk you through 5 traits that show up time and time again in people who have few to no close friends. And it's not because they're unlovable people, it's because they're rare. And rare doesn't fit well into average rooms. And as I go through these, you're probably going to recognize yourself in more than one of them. So let's start with the one that quietly ruins your ability to just hang out. You don't have a high pain tolerance for fake behavior. You can't sit through the fake anymore. You notice when someone's tone changes because they're trying to impress you. You pick up when praise has strings attached to it. You feel the gap between what people say and where their eyes move or how their body tenses up. Most people don't track that. They hear the words, they smile, and they move on. But you hear the words, and you also see their performance behind them. And here's the problem. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You try to sit in a group where everyone is performing for each other, and it feels like being stuck in a play where you're the only one who remembers it's not real. And so what do? Well, you pull back, you talk less, you watch more. Sometimes you stay home. And from the outside, it looks like you don't like people. From the inside, no, I don't want to keep pretending I can't see what's right in front of me. I mean, you can think of this as training your eyes to see what actually is, not what people want you to see. Call it, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it high awareness or discernment. Either way, the result is the same. You're not running away from people. You're running away from rooms where people feel fake. And once you can't tolerate fake, something else starts to happen. Small talk, it stops working on you. Surface level talk, it feels like starving. I mean, you can do it if you have to. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about what you did this weekend or what show you're watching. You can be polite. You can play along. But when that's all there is, you walk away feeling weirdly empty. It's like eating a whole meal made of cotton candy. It's colorful, it's sweet, and then nothing. No substance, no energy, no real connection. What your mind actually wants is different. You want to know why people do what they do. You want to talk about choices and beliefs and regrets and values. You want conversations where both people stop performing and actually say what they mean. You're not looking for a therapy session or a trauma dumping. You're looking for just a real conversation. And unfortunately, most social settings are built for the opposite. They're built to keep it light, to keep it safe, keep it moving. So you end up in a lot of rooms that technically, yeah, they count as social, but they don't count as real contact to you. And over time, you start making a quiet trade. I'd rather be by myself than be in a crowd where we never say anything that matters. And yeah, to everyone else, it looks like isolation. But to you, it's refusing to spend your limited energy on conversations that never leave the surface. And this is the part that people don't see at all. For you, social interactions, It isn't just talking, it's processing. While you're in a room, your mind is tracking everything. It's tracking tonality, it's tracking facial tension, shifts in the group mood, who's uncomfortable, who's irritated, what wasn't said but was clearly felt. I mean, your brain, it burns more fuel in social settings. And you're not doing any of this on purpose. That's just how your brain is wired. And other people, they walk out of that same room feeling energized. You walk out feeling like your internal battery dropped 40%. And no, it's not because you hate people. It's because your system is doing more work than theirs. Every joke, every side comment, every glance, your mind, it registers it, it sorts it, it makes sense of it. That takes energy. And what does any system do when it's overworked? Well, it reaches for quiet. It's not necessarily because you prefer being alone in some dramatic way, some grandiose way. It's because alone is where your brain finally stops scanning and can breathe. And yes, from the outside, it looks like you're always disappearing, but from the inside, it's, hey, if I don't step back, I won't think clearly or feel like myself. You're not just ghosting people, you're returning to your own mind to get steady again and to let your body and thoughts calm down. Either way, it makes large, constant social circles hard to maintain. It does. You don't have the energy to stay on all the time, so you don't. And here's another rare trait that quietly pushes you out of most people's rhythms. You don't build your sense of self out of other people's reactions. You don't need an audience to feel real. You can sit in a room with no notifications and no messages and no one praising you, and you still feel like a person. You still feel real. You still have things you're working on in your own head, in your own life. And that might sound normal to you, but it's not as common as you'd like. A lot of people do not know who they are outside of being seen. If they have no attention, it feels like they have no existence. So what do? They chase it constantly. But you're built differently. And yes, you like being seen and appreciated, but your core doesn't come from that. You can think your own thoughts without needing them to be validated. You can work on something without telling 10 people about it. To the average person, that can read as cold and distant and too independent, but what it really is inner solidity. You're not desperate to be in every group. Unlike them, you're not chasing approval like oxygen. So you naturally say no more often. You don't cling. You're willing to walk away. And yeah, that makes your circle smaller, but it also keeps your self-respect intact. And the last trait is usually one nobody sees until they really, really know you. You don't hand out trust easily. Your trust threshold is high, and for a reason. It's not because you're cynical by nature, but because life already taught you what happens when you trust the wrong person. You overshared that one time and it got used against you. You were loyal to someone who disappeared when it mattered. You counted on a friend who quietly chose their comfort over your relationship. In those moments, they rewired you. Now you don't let people in just because you're lonely. You watch what they do when they're not getting anything out of you. You pay attention to how they handle disappointment and frustration and boredom. Words don't impress you. Consistency does. Charm doesn't move you. Character does. Most people's trust threshold is very low. right? A few good talks, a handful of shared interests, and they're all in. Yours is high. You need time, proof, and repetition. That means fewer people get close. But the ones who make it through that filter, they get a version of you that nobody else sees. The loyal you, the protective you, the ride or die you. So yes, your circle is smaller. It is smaller. But it's not small because you're broken. It's small because you refuse to let the wrong people vandalize your inner life again. And you add these traits together and the picture changes. You see through fake behavior quickly. You're starving for depth. Your brain, it works hard in social settings and it needs real recovery time. You don't rely on attention. You guard your trust because you've paid the price of handing it out too easily. You put that person in a world that's obsessed with constant connection and constant performance and constant sharing. Of course, they're going to look at you like you're a loner. From the outside, you have no friends, and that must mean you're failing at life. But no, from the inside, it means I'd rather protect my peace than trade it for shallow approval. The point was never to be alone forever. No, it's to know yourself well enough that you don't sell your soul to avoid being alone. People who have rich inner lives, they simply don't need as many external props to feel okay. So if you have few or no friends, it might not be a sign that you're defective. It might just be a sign that your standards and sensitivity and depth are higher than average. You're not here to collect bodies in a group photo. You're here to build a life that doesn't betray you when the room empties. And none of this means that you should shut the world out forever. No. What it means is this. Until you find people who can meet you with honesty and depth and consistency, your solitude is not a punishment. It's training. It's where you learn your own patterns. It's where you stop apologizing for how you're wired. It's where you get clear on what you will and will not accept when someone finally walks into your life who actually meets you and meets your expectations. You don't need everyone. You need a few people who are serious about truth, as serious about it as you are. And until they show up, being the person with no friends might just be another way of saying you're the one person in the room who refuses to trade your mind, your peace, and your standards for the comfort of never being alone.